record, Matt? I'm assuming you are.
Go on then.
Right. How are we going to start this one? Hello, Matt.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. It's another Christmas episode.
It's another Christmas episode that starts with a load of shite small talk. Yes.
The way we do it best.
We do it best. I think Christmas is going to be busy this year, and I think this podcast is going to be busier than ever.
It is going to be a busy old podcast, if not the busiest.
We've had one guest at a time previously.
Yep.
And we're going to 3.
Wow. I mean, we didn't want 2, we wanted 3. And that's what we've got.
We wanted 3. So, you know, if the podcast didn't sound like a hot mess with our microphones up to now, you get ready for this trio. This trifle trio of madness. But we are very lucky to have Succulent Theatre join us to look at the film Elf. Roll those titles, Matt.
Let's go.
That lovely harmony there. That was gorgeous. Introduce yourselves. Who are you? Hello.
Shall I do this bit?
Yeah, go on.
Well, I'm Kat, but we are Succulent Theatre. We are a feminist, diverse, autobiographical, confessional theatre. No, that doesn't make sense. We are a theatre company who specialise in autobiographical and confessional theatre. And yeah, we have our debut show, Nasty, Big Girls Being Gross, Mean and Sexy, which is all about body image and eating disorders, and coming to terms with the notion of femininity and what that means to us. And we also have some other exciting things in the works, a new show, and we're going on tour next year. And I'm Kat. I'm the producer / assistant director of that show and the company. Anyone else?
Yeah. I'm Amy. I'm a performer, writer, deviser, just genius. That's very modest lady.
I knew
yes, so very, very incredibly humble creative genius. And I started this company with Rio and Katia. I've forgotten everything about it.
Are we allowed to swear? Yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Cool.
And I'm Rio, and I like donuts.
Oh
yeah. Nice.
Donuts make you go nuts.
I know you because I met you at uni.
You did. And both yourself and Amy, and honestly, Succulent Theatre is an amazing company, like amazing work. All 3 of you, I mean, just met Kat, but all 3 of you are amazing.
It's
like fantastic.
Very first impression, don't worry. Also, I forgot to say, we also have a podcast.
Yes, you do.
Tell us more.
It's the Succulent podcast. It's chaotic. It's just us talking about ourselves.
No, there's some structure. We've
very loose structure. There is some.
We've recently introduced a new structure where we get a randomly generated word every week, and then everyone writes down the word people, the word object, and the word food, and then everyone has to think of like a random story related to the word and those things. So like we get really weird shit come up, but it's really fun because like you have to think on your feet. We get like a minute to think of the stories, and then we kind of just go into it.
The stories are like things like more like memories, I guess, or things.
Yeah, memories.
How nice to have a podcast that's actually got segments, Matt.
I know.
Maybe that's what we're missing.
I don't know. Maybe
actual like games and trivia and nice things to concentrate on. But no, we'll just have this.
You guys have the background.
No, I like it. We're very excited to be here.
We are.
And you have mics, which is exciting. Amy's really showing me and Kat up because we don't.
We
have
share
any of that
one mic.
fancy
We
stuff.
literally share one little mic between the three of us, and
And Amy went, "I'm having that."
it's mine. It's my mic.
It's
Bro,
mine.
it's my mic.
I shine with the mic today. It's me.
I've got the lamp behind the laptop. I've got the mic. I've got the webcam.
Got this. I know what I'm doing.
You look amazing.
I know. Look at
You
it.
got it.
Yeah, Amy's definitely done this before. Well, I've got a nice little bit of wallpaper on my
I love
wall
that.
that I stole from B&Q.
And
Anyway.
I like it, Rio, because it really gives the essence of like couldn't quite afford the whole wall, but it'll be a nice feature.
Yeah,
part
exactly.
It's gorgeous.
It's figs. Wallpaper's expensive. Cost of living crisis and everything.
It is. Before we get too deep about cost of living crisis, we're talking about a Christmas film because what's better than a cost of living crisis than not being able to afford presents for your friends and family? So bringing all the joy out of the
All
end of
the joy.
year.
How joyous.
How joyous. But we are talking today about one of, I think, arguably, or not even arguably, one of the best Christmas films, Elf. We're talking about today.
I mean, that's a statement, though.
That is a brave statement.
You've just gone straight in there.
I mean, is it a statement to say that it's one of the best?
It's
Christmas
one of the most
films?
popular Christmas films.
Agreed.
Better put, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I did not see this podcast going this way.
I know you didn't. But baby,
You're wrong.
I've brought receipts. I've made notes.
Oh,
Yes.
good. No microphones, but we did bring notes. So,
I brought a snack and I brought notes.
you can't hear our opinions, but we've got them.
Silent opinion.
Let's go around and do. So, what are your general thoughts? Summarised thoughts. Let's start with Amy. Let's start with yourself.
Well, I saw it for the very first time today. What? I know.
Wow.
I'm shocked. I think I've seen it's been on in the background at like many kind of Christmases and things, and I've just seen like the odd scene, but I've never. I started watching it. I was like, God, no, I've never actually watched this. And it was. I think that a lot of the joy around that film comes from the nostalgia of that film, and when you're watching it as an adult with none of the nostalgia, it's a different experience, and I'm very excited to share that experience with you all.
That's very diplomatic, wasn't it?
That's the best teaser summary we've ever had.
Yeah.
I'm excited to share more later. Kat, what are your thoughts?
So I don't mind it. You know, I have other favorite Christmas films. I mean, my first issue, I suppose, with it is I think I don't mind Will Ferrell, but I don't know why he always needs to be a child, like an overgrown child in like every film he does, or like a lot of the films that he does. I prefer the films that he does not. He's not an overgrown child. Like I think those are his better films, and I don't mind this film. It's not my favorite, but it's fun to watch.
We'll get you off the fence at some point during the next hour.
Sorry, I'm trying to climb on the fence, but I'm firmly on one side, I think.
Fair enough. And Rio?
Oh, I love it! I love it! It's so easygoing. Like, Buddy's just like how like I just think it's so nice that like yes, I understand that it's a bit weird that he's like a grown adult being a kid, but like when you're a kid you just don't worry about anything. Everything's so fun, like you have no responsibilities, and that's why I like watching it, because I'm like, I want to be 3 years old again and eat gum from the street.
What are you doing that? Were you doing that?
Well, I used to eat bird poo because I thought it was free ice cream, and like that's why I you know I resonate with Buddy, because
Wow.
we eat things we shouldn't.
And what taste did you give the bird poo there? Okay.
Oh, I was really young. I mean,
Was it sweet?
I'm trying to. Let me just cast my mind back to the poo.
Don't say that. Please don't say that.
I feel like it was watery and lumpy.
No, but that's texture. Was it sweet?
Taste.
Oh, taste. Sorry.
Salty.
No, but was it sweet or savoury?
Also,
I don't know. It tasted
you
like
can't do
poo.
it.
I don't know what food tastes like.
No one has to.
Well, I don't know what poo tastes like, but I know that bird poo tastes like poo. That's all I know. Okay.
Real.
Never did I ever think of this podcast when we were talking about bird poo.
We're eating.
Right, and here we are. We're eating it. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. Welcome to our world.
Here we are.
But anyway, circling back to the question that you asked, I love it, and I think it's just very free and easygoing, and everyone sings, and like in a park together, and I've never experienced that, and I'm really jealous, and I want to.
A park sing song.
Finny.
Park
Yeah.
sing-song.
Yeah, like how fun would it just be to
You
like
can just
pop
go down
in,
the local park on Friday around my house and just stand there and sing if you like.
what, and stand on my own and like an
Yeah.
absolute lunatic, like Merry Christmas, everyone.
There's a couple of people who do it already, and you can just.
Oh, lovely! I'll go join them then.
And Matt.
Mate, yeah. I mean, I feel like we've covered all bases really, but like you know, I'm with Rio. I think it's a really fun, joyous movie. It's again, it's one of those things that it came out in 2003, which is mad to
20
think,
years ago.
and which is I remember watching it. And this is showing my age. I was 13 then, so I remember seeing it in the cinema, and remember I resonate with Will Ferrell's silliness. I think so. Whenever he does this kind of man-child behaviour, I just find it really funny, and I don't know why. I've still never really figured it out. When he's in Step Brothers and stuff, I really enjoy that movie. So I think I enjoy watching it. It's not my all-time favourite Christmas movie, but it is something that I would watch every year once, maybe. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
What about you, Forrest?
I think for me, it is one of the top for me. I think it's up there. Muppets Christmas Carol can never be rivaled, can never be beaten, quite frankly. But Elf is up there. Clearly, Rio agrees. Looking at me like I've just shat bird poo in front of her.
I think she that was the thing.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. I think, yeah, I could totally understand where Kat's coming from. I think you're looking at it 2023 and looking at kind of Will Ferrell, you kind of look at the different parts that he plays, and some of his parts, there are questionable bits, but as is a lot, I suppose a hell of a lot of films, a hell of a lot of actors have changed what they would deliver over the years. Elf, I think it's a great film. I think it's just a film that you have on in the background. I don't think there's particular it's not engrossing as such. I wouldn't say it's something that you turn on and you're like, right, okay, I've got to really tune into every scene. But then again, it's a Christmas movie. What Christmas movie is really for that? It's for something in the background whilst you got your friends and family around. I think the comedy is really good. I actually quite like the comedy in this film. I feel that the love story, compared to certain other films that we've looked at recently, is done in a reasonable way. The way that I think again, some questionable bits. But it's addressed in a good way. So you like, Buddy, anything that he does, so sitting in the bathroom and singing to her, is addressed that is not a right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? There's no point where it's like questionable behaviour and it's not addressed, I think. But yeah, that's general thoughts that slowly become very specific by the end of my summary.
It did.
Probably a bit too specific on the general thoughts there, but it was great. It was great and I love it. There you go. I'm not ashamed.
So, starting at the beginning then, is the best place to start, isn't it, I suppose? With being in the North Pole, and where we see baby Buddy grow up. Now, I mean, so the things that I like to do is talk about the Easter eggs as well. I'm not going to go straight into them, but what I do love immediately in the kind of... So it's directed by Jon Favreau, and he does a lot of practical effects and stunts in this movie. And the one thing that I really do enjoy is the Force perspective that is played out, particularly in the beginning bit when we see the elves and also when Buddy then's growing up and we're seeing the kind of Force perspective around it as well. And the way that it's shot and the way it's put together, I really, really enjoy. But like, again, what's nice in that first 5-10 minutes of the movie is that the innocence of Buddy is immediately initiated. So we get this sweetness from the character, from the offset. So then whenever happens next, and you're talking about all the incidents that he falls into, then those moments become more justified because he doesn't know what the outside world is and doesn't know what those kind of social cues are. And I think that's kind of immediately that endearing quality that Buddy has is then it's kind of sustained throughout the movie. And what I really love in that first part is, we see this kind of joyous, yes, we clearly see that he's a human, but then understanding his journey very, very quickly. And then the narwhal as well that goes, bye, Buddy, hope you find your dad. Like, it's so cute. It's one of the best moments. But, like, I really love it. It's such a sweet and really simple way of initiating character arc and a story.
Yeah. I also I like the visuals of like the North Pole stuff. Just for the sake of like how big you're just reminded constantly that he doesn't belong there. And I think it's sad, but it's also funny because obviously he's just too big for everything. But also you're just like, oh, he actually doesn't belong there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is quite sad, but obviously it all ends well. But spoilers.
Oh my god! I think one of the oddest parts watching this film back, one of the strangest bits, is that it starts and ends in a kind of documentary style with Papa Elf, and that's not addressed for any of the rest of the film.
Do you know what? Like, it actually made me think like, oh, it's a bit meta. Like, part of me at the end, I was like, oh my god, is the film actually a film or is it just a book? I was like, thinking too much about this, and then I was like, wow, maybe it's a thing inside a thing. And then
because I mean, it ends with the book being closed, doesn't it? By the old.
It's very like Shrek-esque, you know. It
is, but I also
yes, it is.
I also think it's almost quite Us-esque in some ways because there was a moment when he was reading the book about things that had happened to him to a group of people, and I was like, this is what we do. But
it was very meta. I was like, gosh, is Elf real? Is it a book? I was like, what's happening here?
Well, are we reading a book within a book within a book within a book? Does it feel like Inception?
It's like the TV on the T-shirt. If you know that's right. Not with me. Shut up.
Teletubbies?
Yeah, I think that's one thing wrong.
That's really spun me out.
Yeah, no, same.
I didn't know that Jon Favreau used a lot of practical effects, and I really like practical effects.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that. That's exciting.
I feel like I kind of wish they let into the meta-ness now. Yeah. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
That it's its own like, self-contained, completely out of this universe as well.
That makes it make sense more. I think that makes it more easy to buy into what's happening. Like it being a self-contained story.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like a bit like Alice in Wonderland in that aspect.
Yeah.
like, you know, she falls down the rabbit hole. He has this huge journey through the North Pole, through the candy, sugarcane, all of that stuff. And then he comes into the real world and then everything's awful and miserable. But he injects happiness and joyfulness and just like, I think like that's one of the reasons why I really, really love it, because he reminds people to appreciate the small things. Like when he's in the coffee shop and it says the best coffee shop in the world, he's so literal with like what he reads and what he sees, just as a kid was. And going back to what Matt says, I think that's just like, he's just so like lovable and just so endearing. And if he does something stupid, it's because he's grown up in this world that is not been awful and mean. It's been so magical and wonderful and cheerful, and like he just radiates that. I think
and
that's
it's like
really
he doesn't let the
lovely.
real world infect him; he infects the real world.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna bung in an absolutely ludicrous theory, because we're talking about it being meta and a book, right?
Yeah.
What if Buddy's brother, so Michael, is it Michael or is Michael the dad?
No, Michael's his brother.
Michael.
Yeah, Walter's the dad, I think.
Walter's the dad.
If Michael, what if Michael wrote this book as a means to deal with his father's neglection? So he invented a brother that never existed.
That's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is literally somebody writing, like it's the story is somebody writing about their own trauma, and they're like, this is their way of dealing with it.
No!
Like,
Yeah, and they use the elf as a means to find the joys and
like,
celebrate it.
Have the story end how he wishes it could end, but unfortunately.
That's great.
That is a wild theory, but very interesting.
I love that. See, that makes the whole film so much more interesting to me. Love
it. Does. It also...
An elf.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, Elf 2 would be like a drama where the brother commits suicide because he can never actually reach that level of like joy and understand.
But it's the moments of like disbelief in the movie as well, like the fact that when he gets run over by the taxi and he's absolutely fine, or he's able to redecorate things in a matter of like hours, like all of the things where he can do out of a human's perspective, like that justifies
so
that theory.
That's honestly, I was thinking that because I was like, there's so many moments in this. I know it's a Christmas film, and I know it's like magical, but like so many of moments of this, the magical realism doesn't even come to play. I'm just like, that's not how humans act. Like, when he comes in and goes, and it makes him stop the whole business meeting. Michael comes into Walter and is like, makes him stop the bloody business meeting. And I was like, he just said one sentence to him. This man has been a dickhead from the whole time of the film. And suddenly his son just goes, oh, you only care about yourself, which is not true. The man is doing his job so he can provide for his family partially, and he's doing it for everybody on his team as well. And he just changes his mind and goes, yeah, I'll go find your idiot brother that I fucking hated 5 minutes ago. Sure.
But do you know what I mean? That's why having it written from like a traumatized child perspective makes it make more sense.
Yeah.
So I agree.
But it justifies as well the innocence as well around it. Like that's all he wants.
That's good.
Wow.
We understand it.
Mine genuinely blown then. That's
Don't need to talk about the rest of the film now, Matt.
No, that's it.
We've covered it. Right,
Next.
So yeah, that's the start of the film, and then we get kind of Buddy in New York, and we get Rio, you mentioned earlier, where he eats the gum on the subway, top of the subway.
On the subway.
And for me, that bit, right? Have they superimposed a thing on there that's just got gum on, or did they genuinely like wash the holy hell out of one bar? And that's what I want to know, like the intrinsic nature of whether they went to town on cleaning the hell out of that so that Buddy could eat, or Will Ferrell could eat it.
So I think that they got him to chew loads, stick them on like in a certain area, or just chew one and then because he eats more than one.
But I think did they wash what the? I reckon they built a set piece.
Yeah, I was going to say surely it's set.
No,
surely it's set.
Right. No, he did it. He's a He's a
No, but he could die.
no, he wouldn't.
Guys,
He
Rio
chewed
is
it,
proof.
stuck it under,
Rio is
took it off,
living proof that you can eat free garbage. And
Rio is the pizza rat from New York City. Confirmed.
I'm still here. That's all I'm gonna say.
Rio's like, if I can do it, anyone can.
Anyone can.
Who gives a fuck? A little bit of bacteria? Come on, mate. Sort yourself out.
Bacteria is good for your body.
It is
I will
good.
Die
It
on
is
that
good.
hill.
It is good. And do you know
So
what,
body's
Rio?
fine.
I'm massively all about that as well. People who overuse hand sanitizer and all that stuff, I'm like, you're going to kill yourself in the long run, mate.
What do you think?
You're going to have some bad bacteria.
Why do you think I'm doing it?
she's getting ready to write the
I'm playing the long game, suicide.
Really slow down.
I've actually just found a quote from Will Ferrell from 2003. He had an interview with somebody called Wilson Morales, who asked the question, was the sidewalk gum pre-cleaned for you? And he says, here we go, no, we didn't have the budget. So I actually had to eat old New York City gum, but it wasn't as bad as you would think. Still relatively flavorable, he says. Yeah.
You didn't have the budget. Could you not have just gone and got some juicy fruit from the shop?
I mean,
Bodega, like AP, right?
like
in those
talking
days.
pennies.
I can't believe that. I can't.
Can you imagine the creatives involved? We haven't got quite the money to clean that, Will. So, we could discard this scene completely. It's kind of irrelevant. Yeah. We could do something else. And Will's just going, no, absolutely, we've got to keep it in.
That is, it's instrumental to the film. We knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, but now...
I suppose...
Oh, sorry.
No, you go, Amy. You go. I've interrupted you twice.
No, it's all right. No, it's me. No, I say now I know that it's enhanced the scene for me. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but I'm actually
commitment.
concerned though.
Totally...
Like genuinely, they didn't have the budget to buy fresh chewing gum.
That's insane.
Like that's actually surely that's like 20 cents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it that they didn't have the money for the chewing gum or the money to clean the thing, though? Surely they had the money to clean the chewing gum.
Matt said that he ate. It was the flavour.
He ate the actual chewing gum.
He did say it was eat old New York City gum. I actually had to eat old. New York
I'm
City
just
gum.
saying
That's
that
what he
now.
said.
As a producer, you wouldn't get past that You wouldn't get that past.
Times have changed.
Cat's like looking at the budget of their next show, going, "Oh, I can make some cuts."
Oh, sorry, guys.
Have you guys seen?
That's what
I do it. I do it.
Flamingos?
No,
that it's a John Waters film with Divine.
It's the most quietest you've made the whole
This was a film podcast, girl.
No, I'm interested. What is it? Yeah.
Queer cult classic, and it's about a drag queen who's having. I think this is Pink Flamingos, or it's another one, but it's a John Waters film, and she's having a whole competition with someone about who can be the filthiest. And John Waters brought his dog on set, and they followed the dog around all day until the dog took a shit, and then Divine ate the poo. They didn't do fake poo. They did none of that. She ate the dog feces that came out the dog, and I was like, that is for me. That's like if Will Ferrell eats chewing gum, for me, like Divine is like up here. Like, do you know what I mean?
But also, that is dangerous. That is actually dangerous.
You can go blind, like or something. Like, it was weird,
like,
but
there's bacteria and there's bacteria. Like,
what do you think about that, Rio? Is that poo you sample? Or... The menu of life? Is that a poo you'd sample?
I think I'd probably, back out.
Would you do it for a tenner? Would you do it for a tenner?
Pardon? Sorry? Oh, I'd probably do it for like 100 quid.
Lick that white dog shit! Lick the white dog shit!
I love how that is all circled back.
I know, it will keep coming back to, unfortunately.
and that's the cost of living crisis. That's the state of the UK at the moment. No one's got a pot to piss in, but you give me some dog shit for 100 quid. Yes, please. I will line in that queue.
I'm there.
Rio's like, come on.
I've been here before.
Anyone?
So
My
good.
damn shine.
I'm there.
Matt, move us on quickly.
I was about to go. Where are we? Let's. Shall we go to the bit where he goes to Macy's, the toy shop, and he meets Jovi for the first time. I love the I can't believe the guy's his name tag is
Wanda.
like Wanda,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I
That's it.
noticed that.
And the fact that he immediately thinks he works for the toy shop, and he just kind of goes along with it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no, what? You're late," and he's like, "Okay, I'm sorry." Like it's just like, bless you, buddy, bless you.
Now we're talking about this scene, right? I want to give a massive, and the guy's name Faison Love, which is an amazing name anyway.
Yeah.
But the manager, he plays the manager of the store, and honestly, that guy's comedy timing in that first bit where I was like, mate, I've never seen this guy in anything since or before. It's just amazing.
No, I've seen him in a couple of things.
He's been in Just My Luck. He always
Just My Luck, yeah.
I want to
in Just My Luck, he was a very different.
Phase on
Love.
Sorry, but that is a fan.
That is a name, isn't it?
Oh,
Better than Wonder.
But he was amazing, and it was just got really quite good comedy, and like Matt, you mentioned Step Brothers, and it just felt like there was scenes and flickers throughout of genuinely really good, like Step Brothers, Hangover, like bits of comedy that were really well written there. But I have to be honest and say that this film and Zooey Deschanel, she was my love when I was younger, mate. Seeing Zooey Deschanel come on for this film, and I was like, oh, she's beautiful.
she is.
Love to be
She apparently she wasn't originally meant to have like any like singing in her character, and Jon Favreau overheard her sing, which then happens in the movie, and they went, "Oh my gosh, you've got an amazing voice. We should write this in." It became like a genuine character arc for her.
That is amazing. That is like
pretty
low
cool.
dream. Like that's why I sing in public. That's,
It's like
on the off chance that someone's going to be like, "Oh my god, let me write you a film."
Cat goes to the park
Yeah,
where there's all those
that's me.
people just start singing.
Yeah.
guys, this is me. Please.
Remy in the film.
Could I just interrupt the pub brawl, please? Stop punching his face. I've got but if that is true, though, right? She's such a pivotal moment at the end. Without her song, that's how they get the Christmas spirit. So what did they have?
What
there
were they
in
going to
place?
do? Exactly.
Also, I think what her, if they didn't add that to be like an important like journey in her character arc, she would have literally just been a love interest, and that would have been it.
Classic.
Also, what's Jovi short for? Anyone?
I was thinking this. All I could think of was Bon Jovi, and I was like, pretty sure it's not that.
Bon Jovi, it could be. I don't know.
Find out.
Going back to that scene, I'm jumping ahead. No, I won't talk about it.
Go for it, Rio. Honestly, as if
At
you're
this
worried
point.
about the kind of process of this podcast, mate.
So you know where Buddy's manager, where he's done the makeover, and he's like really seriously like, they've got someone in. Got someone in. They're trying to show me up. I just think that is classic management. Like, I will take credit for this. I will take credit for someone else's idea. It was all me. We're brilliant, lovely, and I'm going to pick apart of the fact that although everything's brilliant and I've done none of this, I'm going to have a go at you because you're not making ribbon that's long enough.
Yeah, you're so right.
I'm now off on my break. See you later.
It's very. They've captured that very well.
Good point, Rio.
They did.
Thank you.
What a lovely boy. Have you all seen the sitcom Superstore?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, I think I have.
No.
No. Oh, all right.
No.
That was so aggressive. No, not interested. Fucking move on, please.
Let me try that again. No, I haven't.
So it's a sitcom about an American superstore, and those scenes in Elf were very kind of, it reminded me of that kind of comedy. Like they drifted that comedy into that sitcom. I recommend Superstore massive. I think all of you would love Superstore. It's great. It's a great sitcom. Yeah.
It's fun.
Add to my list.
I think sticking with the mall part, I think when we have Elf de Santa Claus, the fake Santa
God.
Claus, and call him out, Like that moment I find it so funny, and I quote it all the time. But like the kid that's on Santa's lap in that moment, I really enjoy, because it's quite clearly just the kid's just in the scene, just listening to what's going on, and in his head, and what he's being told is that he's being told, just so you know that that's not the real Santa Claus. Just so you know, my dad is actually a fake Santa. So in his head, out loud, you can see that he's going fake. Fake. He's literally just whispering fake to himself while the scene is taking place. Seriously, watch it back and just look at the kid, and he's just going fake.
I had the subtitles on so I could see he just went fake, and I was like, oh my god, no! I was like, oh shit,
this poor kid.
I really
It was such a good moment.
It's a very quotable like few lines, isn't it? When he's like, "Oh, you sit on a throne of lies." Like I feel like I've heard people say that to me.
Sit on a throne of lies.
And
Also, do all of those kids still believe in Santa?
Well, this is it.
Like, have they sat them down and gone, okay, children, so this is a fake Santa. Santa still actually exists, but this Santa isn't real. But there is a real Santa. Like, how do you tell a
really
kid that?
I mean, I don't have kids, but do kids, when I have experienced kids in my life, do they?
Wow. All right, Kat.
I really knew.
Somewhere, someplace, I've encountered a child, and I get into the psyche of a child.
I often do.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh shit! What was I saying? Oh yeah, but when they go to Santa's grottos, do they think it's a real Santa then?
I mean, yeah, some kids do.
Yeah, I've got 2 girls. They do. Absolutely.
How old are your girls?
Absolutely. So my girls are 7 and
25
4.
and 30.
All right. Cheers, Horace. You know.
7 and 4.
No, 7 and 4. Yeah.
If they ask, like, I feel like if they asked, would you be like, because I think I said like to my mum, like, quietly so my sister couldn't hear, is that the real Santa? And she was like, it's actually one of Santa's helpers, because Santa's very busy around this time of year. So
That's it. Like my father-in-law has a very Santa-esque to him as well. So they have a little feeling that, oh, I think Granddad's Santa, and
That's so cool.
I know they've said it for a few years now, but they're saying quite a lot at the moment. And what doesn't help as well is that he comes in every Christmas Eve as well as Santa.
Oh.
So he literally comes through, and I think they're just kind of going, I think that's just Grandad, or it's Grandad Santa. So they're just trying to figure it out. I'm just keeping the magic going as much as I possibly can, because I mean, yeah, but that is
adorable.
Now we're talking about this topic, right? There is a scene in the film which, up to I think however many times I watched it, never noticed until this time, that I think is arguably a controversial scene when you think that this is a family or a kids film, right? There is a scene with I think it's Buddy and it is Santa. I think it's Santa and Elf, and is it them or is it Papa Elf? Anyway, doesn't matter. Two of them, and they are talking about whether Santa really exists or whether it's the parents doing it.
Oh yes,
right?
Yes.
And they have a whole conversation about it, and I'm like, that is very, very close to like giving the reality of the situation to your viewer, right? And and it's not something you get in another Christmas. I don't think I've ever seen a Christmas film where they quite hit it on the. It might be like, is Santa real? That's a general theme, but you certainly don't have a full-on conversation where it's about like there's a rumor going around where parents, are putting the presents themselves. So I thought that scene was quite an interesting from an adult perspective to be like, if your child picked up on that, that's an annoying conversation.
It's also like it's giving another level to like the whole meta thing, because it's literally Santa saying that.
No, it's Papa Elf, I think.
Oh, is it? I think it's Santa.
Oh, is it Papa?
I think it's Papa Elf at the beginning when they're on the sleigh. Like he shows them, he's like the little sleigh's tinkered, and he's like describing stuff to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think but it is like, it is weird. It's weird. I think if your children already know, then it's probably quite smart, because it's good confirmation that that's not true. Like if they're like have to have the suspicion, people at school have been talking.
Yeah, this is true. On the playground. I just got punched and kicked and spat on, but yeah.
Which playground were you at? Essex is wild, man.
Let's talk about the initial courtship with Buddy and Jovi. So their first date. Now I find it super sweet because literally what we see is Buddy showing her New York from his perspective. So the world's best cup of coffee, doing the turnstile thing really, really quickly to the point that you throw up. Just all of these really innocent things that he immediately discovered when he came into New York. Something that people that live there just don't even have a second thought about. That wouldn't even think about finding joy in those kind of tiny little moments. It was that sequence where I was like, God, this is like going back to what your point for us about kind of it was such the way that relationship was played out in the movie is really sweet because it's just, again, it's that innocence, isn't it? It's that kind of feeling. Look, it's nothing to do with, what he wants from her. It's just, look, I find this really fun. Share this joy with me. Yeah, sharing joy. I just love that moment. It's sweet.
It's really nice. I think it's really nice. And yeah, you're right with like the innocence and the kind of, when you are a child, you embrace that without any regard. And the song that they play is "You Make Me Feel So Young." I think it's Frank Sinatra.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, he just makes everyone feel young. Because obviously, like that's kind of what you gain more is more inhibition. Yeah. More inhibition. What's the phrase? As you get older, you
gain inhibition. Yeah, because you're losing your inhibitions is.
Yeah, you have more inhibitions because you're influenced by like other shit going on. But as a child, you don't have any of them, so you want to do what you want.
Just vibing. But I think it's a bit weird that she sees him behaving like a child and is like, "Yep,
I want a heart there." Yeah.
See, I don't think that she views him as a child. I think that she sees him as like just someone who finds. I said it. And I'll keep saying it, just fun in the small things. And she's like, New York is known for being everyone's really rude. It's miserable. Everyone's just working the 9 till 5 grind. Like, and she lives there and she's experienced that. She hates her job from what it like appears in the film. She's not very happy there. And he's just, it's like she's basically being a tourist in her own town where she lives, and like just finding very small, simple things, like Matt said, just so much fun and joy. And she's like, oh, actually, life isn't that bad. So I think that I view it as that, well, yeah, maybe they are. It is like going back to like kids.
I think that was the intention. I think you're completely right. That's definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's not how I felt watching it. I was a bit like, are you really going to touch that man's willy now?
No, but like if someone took you on that first date, how amazing would you feel?
I wouldn't think it was a date anymore. I would think, oh, this is an adult friendship.
I mean, come on, all right. A bit of realism here, though, Rio. Right? If you went on a date, some guy or lady, whoever, started spinning round, and you were just stood as a bystander, just what would you wouldn't question that at all? You'd be like,
I probably wouldn't. No, I'd definitely join in.
Fair day.
I'd be like, woohoo! Look at you suckers in your 9 to 5s, aren't you having fun? Woohoo! I think that's how. I mean, I probably would be a bit embarrassed, but it's only embarrassing if you're embarrassed. It's so yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and also, right, if we go back to the meta theory that Kat it started and embedded, what if this is a friend that Michael has at school, who he is aware has a similar family dynamic as himself? So he invented a character such as Jovi, who, because when we first meet Jovi, we get a kind of like, we see her working in the shop, and she's not overly pleased with working in the shop. She doesn't seem to have, like, she's not quite found herself or her identity. Like, you know, Buddy has to get that singing out of her, has to get the confidence out of her. So could it be this is a friend of Michael, or someone that he quite is fond of? So he's written this girl into his story to kind of find a solution for the both of them.
Yeah.
And the sequel would be his journey into getting with the girl.
Yeah. And also, like, on that, like, maybe also it's kind of like
Bang Jovi, if you will. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my god!
Like almost like a mirror, or like like a mirror that he would want. That's not. I don't mean the word mirror, but a projection of how he'd want his parents' relationship to be. But it's not
full of joy.
That's it.
His dad has
that's made me really sad.
That's it.
And it's just.
That's a much more eloquent way of the theory than me, Kat. That was brilliant. Yeah, I love that. I'm all for that. That's great. Absolutely. He's invented parents he wished that he'd had. You know what I mean? That's gorgeous.
I'm just gonna say it, and I don't know if this is me getting too deep for a kids' film, but the women in that film only exist in relation to men. And that really, I know that it's not important because this is a kids' film, but like, I didn't feel like I could connect with many of the characters.
I mean, arguably, I think it's more important because it's a kids' film. Like, I feel like
think that's not the message we should be giving them.
No, yeah, sorry, yeah. But I mean, it's also very of its time. Like, it's 2000. Like, in most 2003 films, that's what women were doing, and were there to serve male characters,
existing in proximity to male needs and attention and
and I think you raised a great point, Amy, and it goes into what I did want to talk about, and something that I don't think, you know, from a 2023 guys is great, is all of the office scenes. So all of Walter's, you know, where he works and where we see that kind of masculinity, and only men in the top jobs as well. White men in the top jobs. It's, you know, and they don't do anything in the film to even try. And even when Buddy goes down to the basement and he's with all the other colleagues, pretty sure all of them were men. And
all of them are people of color, and that's where they're all in the mail. They're all in the mail room.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you got to question writing and go, you know, do you really think? What are you trying to do? Are you reflecting a society and saying this is bad? In which case, where was the negative connotation of what was going on?
Where was the message?
You know, at what point was that message relayed at any point during the film? You could say that, you know, Walter's life was pretty shit, but that still didn't affect the people in the basement. That didn't. It didn't affect the non-white, non-male people in the film. So I think that was badly done. I also think, like, it's very, very questionable Miles's character and the way that the treatment of that. I think what so Miles is played. I just think Game of Thrones every time. Peter Dinklage. And I thought what were the only bit that I did quite like was his introduction scene, because you see him walking, and apart from the first shot, there's not an emphasis on the fact that, you know, of his height. There's no emphasis of height. We just get like everybody else's reaction to this kind of powerful character, and the fact that he is a powerful character, you know, you could see that's a positive. You know, is that a positive way to look at that? And but you know, the way that Buddy comes in the room, I'll be interested. What are your thoughts? Because I need to stop talking. What are your thoughts on it?
That, for me, I think is the most uncomfortable moment of the film, just because I mean, it feels a little bit like they've sort of animalized that person, Miles, the character, especially when he gets so angry and like runs across the table to attack, and it would kind of I don't know. For me, it seemed quite like unjustified to have to write him like that. I didn't really understand.
It wasn't needed.
No, exactly.
It really wasn't needed. I mean, I'm not defending it at all, but like it feels like that was kind of showing the bad side of his innocence.
Yeah.
Maybe, but like it just wasn't needed. It didn't serve anything. It didn't further really anything. If anything, that was the only moment when you know was it Walter that got annoyed with Buddy and told him to go away and never come back. There's other ways of doing that. There's in that situation there was other ways of doing that and achieving to get to that moment.
I think you know what was missing was a scene directly after, which could have happened between Michael and Buddy, where Michael was the one to tell Buddy what was wrong about that. Because then, as a children's movie, children are then getting that from another person they can, a representative of themselves. Because that's the thing, Buddy got no repercussions from that. He might have got repercussions in terms of being, thrown out, but there was no specific, this is why that was wrong. And that's the only part in that film where there should have been something said specifically what was wrong about his actions during that scene.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think you can say like, oh, it's of its time for that, because I think it's. I don't think
I can only imagine how many kids have had those same lines. Like little people have had those same lines used to them. I can only imagine, and people think it's really funny. And when like they're just like, no, it's not fucking funny. I've heard it 1,000 times, bitch.
Yeah, I also just think that it kind of also just, as all of you have kind of like said, it just promotes violence. Like you said, there's other ways to communicate to someone that what they're saying to you is incorrect or is not right or is upsetting you. Yeah, and like just one scene after that, like you said, Forrest, would have really, I think would have been it was a very good opportunity to, like you said, send a message to kids of like, and to parents of this is a way that you could deal with telling your kids, not to point out
visible differences.
Yeah.
It feels because with all the choices that they've made in terms of just the character for Buddy, it felt all genuine and all that. But then this moment it was a clear miss. I wonder whether anything hit the cutting room floor like with that. If there was ever a deleted scene or something. I mean, I'm assuming there isn't, but like, yeah, it just feels a bit about out of taste from and it kind of like jars the pace of the movie as well. But it might be one of those things that it's just dated now. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
And even the bit where Peter's character Miles, when Miles is on the floor and he says, "Say it one more time," and that Buddy isn't stupid. This whole film is about the fact that he's not actually stupid. The guy was telling the truth the whole time. The guy knows, he knows to a degree what's inappropriate and not appropriate. And when he's made aware of the thing, he will fix that thing, right? He doesn't repeat the same. So the fact that he would hear Miles visibly angry and still repeat that word that's done that, it just jarred with me, and it made Buddy into a character that he wasn't for the rest of the film, I think.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, because it's like, I mean, the elves, they speak, well, as far as we know in the film, they speak the same language as humans, so it's not like he would probably encountered other people being like, say that one more time, like
exactly. They're like friendly little beans. I think something I've just realized, and I think it completely echoes what Cassie was saying about animalizing people with visible differences. The way he acts with Peter Dinklage is the only other time he acts like that is with the raccoon at the beginning, when he's like, "Oh, do you want a hug?" And when Peter Dinklage is like running down the table, he's like puts his arms out as if he's gonna like hug him. And I'm like, that is weird that those two scenes are the only places that like echo that, where he's like not taking cues, like right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also just for like a film that's supposed to be about like accepting differences.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make sense to go in there.
Yeah, he's specifically told he's about to go somewhere that has no elves in it. Like, he is going to feel out of place. He is a human. This is a human place that he's going. So he wouldn't believe that. He wouldn't think at all. He, yeah. Anyway, I think we got over the point. That's a bad scene.
I think as we move into the final act, we get to the moment where we find a stranded Santa Claus in Central Park. One of the moments that I always kind of find myself having to kind of remind myself of this last act, because this is the one that I find more forgettable. But the one bit that does stick with me is the park rangers.
Yes.
Because what they remind me of are ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings, and I don't know if it's done deliberately or not. Just the way that they're riding the horses, they got this ominous kind of cinematic, and the way that they got the hooves that are smoke's coming out of them. Do you know what I mean? The way that they set up the park rangers gives me the sense of something from Lord of the Rings. I don't know,
I've
but
never
that's
seen
that.
Lord of the Rings, so I have no
I'm
idea.
just googling what ring raiders are. Oh God!
I love Lord of the Rings, and now you say it with the whole kind of the hooves beating,
Yeah.
and sort of the darkness, and I get it a bit.
Yeah, it's straight. It's a bit of a reach, but yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Amy.
I also find the park rangers that's an interesting decision. I feel like a lot of the other human aspects of the film are quite realistic. That I'm like, wow, okay, that's interesting choice. Like for the park to decide, you know what, let's get the horses out. Here we go. Santa's
And I think the whole kind of ending to this film feels very Matt, I don't know if there's deleted scenes, or it just felt very lovely film, boom, shitloads of stuff going on, what is this? Is that out of the blue, Santa rocks up, elves going home, it just kind of, it throws it into I feel like it could have been, it made the plot a macro plot at the end, right? It was the wider image, and I felt that the whole film and the essence of the film meant that the ending should have been a lot more micro. It should have been whether Elf just changed Walter's ways, he ended up with a family, job done. Right, I don't feel. I think that it went too big. All of us, and it started big. It started about he's coming from this place, he's going to, but then it got really small, and then it got really big again. And I think for me that kind of threw it a bit at the end.
I think it just seemed like very unnecessary, because up until that point where Santa had fallen and he needed Buddy's help, and it was just all of a sudden it was just dropped in there the park rangers, da, 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 da. if when before Buddy left, and he's said, oh, don't eat this, don't do that, if Papa Elf said something oh, just oh, you're going to New York, beware of the park rangers, or if Santa said something to him, something that hooked it in would make more sense. But without that, it's just very over dramatic.
Yeah. I agree.
Saving grace, I will say about the end is I can't find on Rotten Tomatoes, I can't find the actor or the character, but the news reporter at the end, I think she's brilliant, and I love that bit, and I love the kind of her reaction to seeing the sleigh, her when Michael has the big book of naughty and nice and what people have asked for Christmas, and he kind of says, oh, you've asked for that, and the kind of magic when she realizes it's real, and I did quite like that, and that I don't know, it felt really in amongst the chaotic kind of what is going on with the park rangers. Why have we suddenly got such an interest in an engine? You need Christmas spirit, but you had an engine, so you just go with the engine. You didn't need the Christmas spirit.
Also have reindeer.
Yeah,
and reindeer.
No, they had the engine because people didn't have enough Christmas spirit, so they had the engine as a backup, but then when it fell off, because there was absolutely no Christmas spirit, that's why he crashed. So I get that.
I think I felt like they were searching for a tension point, with the park rangers, and I think they could have achieved that by trying harder to build the Christmas spirit. Like you could have built the Christmas spirit and that be the tension point, as opposed to introducing the like charge from the Rangers, or like at least make them relevant, as Ria said prior in the film. I also like the news reporter, and I liked that. It's like quite short, quite a minimal interaction, but like there's some random guy who's just like, I love the way you read. Like your eyes really tell the story. Like I'm like, that's hilarious. I'm like, you get random people like that on the news.
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently that was improvised, and she when she's laughing, that's her out of character laughing. Apparently.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's you think and that makes so much more sense because she does nothing in relation to that. But I quite like that as well, though. From a kind of looking at the women in the film, and just because a male's suddenly got interest, she's not all like, oh, love story number 5. Like she's just gone, you're a fucking weirdo. That was an odd moment. Like let's just move on and do my job. I really like that. Also, Walter never becomes a good character.
No.
And I like that. Even at the end, he refuses to sing, and only he does sing, but ultimately the character is never kind, and Michael never really gets justification for everything. If anything, he's lost Buddy. He's lost Buddy, and he's ended back in a crappy scenario with parents who blatantly aren't going to last the next 5 years together. So I mean, the poor guy's got a horrible future.
No, I know, bless him.
I mean, I think the only. Will you say?
I didn't say anything important.
Love that point.
The only time I think that he shows something a little bit, or like maybe he's being a little bit good, is when he decides to, deter the park rangers and he dresses up as Santa, which also doesn't actually make any sense because they just run straight past him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've thought about it.
Yeah, they run straight past him like they know who they're going for, which they don't, because isn't the whole point of the plot that they don't know what's happening?
Yeah.
They know something has landed, but they don't know who the people are around that thing that's landed. Hence, they don't know it's a sleigh or Santa. So if any guy walked up to them, they would immediately stop because they would just assume he's got to be part of the thing that they're searching for, right?
That's so true, but I always thought that like Santa, I always read it as that Santa and the park rangers had like this long-lasting history of hatred towards each other.
Yeah, because he said I put them on the naughty list like 1 year, and like they now
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah,
like, and
Does he
but
have
then,
constant
but
beef?
wouldn't that mean that all of the park rangers would help
New
giving it
Santa.
the Christmas spirit, and therefore the sledge could fly?
So they
And
can be on
therefore-
the good list?
Like, they could be on the nice list. Yeah, I don't know.
Because they're
Maybe.
Santa
Safe to
because they're on
say
the
there are
naughty
some
list.
holes in the plot. There are some holes.
Therefore, they believe in Santa. Therefore, that would make the sledge fly. So them trying to hunt for Santa, if they know who it's Santa, then that means that there would have always been a bit of Christmas spirit.
No, Rhea, I think we're overthinking. So they're on the naughty list, so they've just had a shit year's Christmas. That's all. They don't suddenly know who Santa is.
Rio has made a fantastic point. She is saying, they don't know. You're saying they don't know why they've had a shit.
Yeah, so they've had a shit Christmas. They're not going to know Santa suddenly exists and who Santa is, and they haven't got all of that backstory. They've just had a bad Christmas because they're on the naughty list. If you're on a naughty list, you don't suddenly go, bloody hell, I know exactly who Santa is. I know exactly what the whole situation is, and I've visited the sleigh before. All you end up with is bad presents.
But
you don't know that you're on the
naughty list. Is that you know that Santa's put you on the naughty list, but you don't know who he is, but you know he's put you on the naughty list. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but like, how can you know he's put you on the naughty list if you don't know who he is? That doesn't make sense.
No, but you know,
But everyone
you know
knows
he
what
exists.
Santa looks like.
You know
Everyone
he
knows what
exists.
Santa looks like. My
talking
point that I'm trying to say is that if the park rangers were on the naughty list, they believe in Santa because they're angry about something, and therefore there would have been Christmas spirit.
See, that's what I'm saying. The sheer anger that they feel is due to their belief in Santa for giving them a shit.
Yes!
So there must be Christmas spirit.
No,
Yes!
the spirit needs to be positive.
Santa.
Positive Christmas spirit.
But there's nowhere that says that it's positive or negative.
John Favreau doesn't know how to do endings.
Well, I think guys, we already know they were short on the budget. I think at this point they were We've spent too much on chewing gum. We need to have everything in you can.
I've never listened back to a podcast, but in order to know what the fuck is being talked about in the last 10 minutes, I'm going to have to listen back. And I've never had to, I still don't know. We went from why did they not stop for Walter? That's what I was reacting to, is the fact that they don't know what Santa looks like just because they're on the naughty list. So why wouldn't they have stopped? I didn't realise that we'd moved on to a whole like.
Well, no, the horses obviously don't know what Santa looks like, but everyone knows like the thing of Santa.
What he looks like. We moved on to a whole
you're
different
agreeing the same thing, Rio. So they know what Santa looks like. So if he's dressed as Santa, they would have stopped.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. I'm confused.
I thought you were talking about Christmas spirit now. Anyway,
I was talking about. Anyway.
I'd like to apologise to Jon Favreau because I don't know. We have no idea how famous we're going to become, but hopefully very like in the realms.
Yeah,
But,
guys, I'm going to get picked up for singing on the street, so it's fine.
There's going to be the amazing booth Casey comment. I would like to say sorry to Jon Favreau. Everything I've seen that you've done, I was talking to you now. Everything I've seen you've done, you've been a fantastic actor in, but your endings leave a lot to be desired, and that might not be your fault.
Amy, thank you so much for that.
Amen.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that's the last Woody. I mean, the ending is the Christmas spirit comes back. Jovi goes to North Pole with Buddy, and they have a kid, and there's a lovely little bit of forced perspective, which I love, and then that's it. And it ends. The book is closed.
And I like the little bit at the end where Santa and all the little like Mr. Normal and everything are like.
Oh yeah, they're welcome in. Yeah, they're there.
Having a little. Ooh.
Oh, I didn't see that bit.
I
did see the
little
baby.
boogie.
The baby was called Susie. Do you think that was because that girl wanted a doll called Susie? Do you think?
I think it's named after Buddy's mum, isn't it?
Yeah, Susan.
Wells.
Susan Wells.
Yeah.
Susan Watts. Susan Wells.
Oh, that's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
Susie.
Sorry.
That's really sweet. I also like the fact that she's wearing the clothes of the elf.
Do you guys have to edit this? Like, do you guys...
I don't think any edits required, Kat. How could I possibly edit this to make sense, mate? You're getting it uncut.
With this one mic with the three of us, and it is violent. It's really difficult. Like, I wouldn't even attempt it.
So we'll get the one segment that we do have in the Don't Be a Hero podcast is that we end every podcast. We end every podcast with a crisp rating. So you have to tell us what flavour, what brand of crisp you would consider this film is, and you also have to tell us how full the bag is. So you're saying the kind of texture of the film, the feeling of the film, and then you're saying how full is it. So how much stars would you typically give that film? So we're going to go round. Kat's already got her hand up. I'm loving that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go with the Walker's cheese and onion half full. So I'll just break it down for you. So I think...
Thank you.
Diagram out.
Onion, because I find it quite cheesy, but it's like classic, it's classic cheesy. Walker's, because again, it's a household brand. It's everyone knows it. It's something that's people go back to time and time again. Half full, because as we've discovered, there are a lot of holes in the plot, and there's some things that I maybe don't agree with. And Walker's crisps, that kind of crisps are kind of a bland texture, which I guess it works. In my opinion, I'd say that.
Nice.
That's me.
Amy, what about you?
I would have also gone for Walker's, but I think I might now go for Snack Right, knowing that they didn't have the budget to buy chewing gum.
Right, we haven't had a Snack Right yet. Yeah.
I'm going to say like an Aldi or Snack Right, salt and vinegar, and I'm going to say it's nearly empty. That for me, that's what I'm saying. But that is because I despise salt and vinegar. I can't stand the smell of it. I hate it. But everyone else seems to love it. And I feel like that's the vibe of this film. Is that I don't despise this film. I just didn't particularly enjoy it that much. And that's fine. I can see why it would make people happy, and if I was a child I might have enjoyed it a lot more, like if I'd seen it before. But everyone else seems to love salt and vinegar. I don't, and the bag is nearly empty because they've almost finished eating them, which means that I don't have to smell it for much longer. So I'm feeling like, yeah, this could be on in the background and I'd be quite happy. I would be all right, but I wouldn't sit there and watch it again, like just on my ones like I did today.
That's a lovely review. Thank you, Amy. Rio?
So I'm really glad I went last because I didn't think of a crisp until just now. So I'm going to go for Twiglets. Because I think that Elf's one of those films where you either love it or you hate it, just like Marmite. And I don't know the brand of them. What is the brand of them?
I think they are made by Walkers.
Are they? I don't think that's correct.
No, they're Jacobs. They're Jacobs.
Jacobs, yeah.
Because, everyone knows a Twiglet. Well, I was going to try and say something really clever like Amy and Kat did, but I didn't. I'm just... you either love it or you hate it like Marmite. That's what I'm going for. And you have them at Christmas time and not really much around the year. You never see those big boxes on the shelf in summertime for Twiglets. So it's a Christmas time special. I will stop talking now.
Did I give Twiglets last week, Forrest?
I think you did. I think
for
we've had two Twiglets.
Oh, and it would be half full.
Half full.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, for me, I haven't brought out this brand of crisps for a long time, Forrest. I'm gonna go for Seabrooks.
Ooh.
Okay, those crinkle cut Seabrooks, ready salted. Like it's a good brand, Seabrooks, good brand. They have good crisp, but ready salted. Bog standard, yeah. Take it or leave it. Some people like it. Some people, yeah.
Are they like the salt and shake ones?
Yeah, well, you can get salt and shake Seabrook.
They really remind me of like school, but like
they remind me of the seaside and like kind of the 90s.
Yeah, it's very 90s.
It's nostalgic, and I think that kind of works with this.
As Amy said, to be fair, it has a lot of nostalgia.
Good, I like that. Much better than mine.
That's good.
Well, I've done it for 2 years now, so I just got a list.
Pride myself on the crisp rating.
I rate myself 3 crisp.
I think I would go for a salt and vinegar Pringle. And I would go 3/4 full because I think I really enjoy the film. I think it's great. I'm going to go for a salt and vinegar Pringle because once you pop, you can't stop. It just plays on in the background. You love it. However, with a salt and vinegar Pringle, there's always the occasional bit where you realise your tongue is burning.
Yeah,
and
true.
There are occasional scenes in this film, such as the way they treat our Peter Dinklage, where your tongue suddenly burns and you become very aware of how bad the film can be.
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
And when you get the little thing, you cut your...
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the worst.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Oh,
That was great. That was great.
That was good.
honestly,
I like that.
love
expert.
that.
Me too.
Excellent crisp rating.
You are expert, crisp.
Expert. But honestly, thank you so much for coming on
so
our
much
podcast.
great. Yeah,
this has been a crazy fun hour and 12 minutes, and thank you so much. And the dolphins appeared.
They have.
That last. Mr. Narwhal.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much. Please do check out Succulent Theatre, Succulent TC. Is that what? Yeah, Succulent TC on Instagram, all the social media. Go check them out. Fantastic shows. They tour the UK and hopefully internationally very soon.
Check out the podcast as well.
We do.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
for
so
the
much.
madness.
Loved it. It was very fun.
Great.
I really like the
Oh,
crisp rating thing. That is a chef's kiss from me.
thank you. I mean, we try and put it out in reels on Instagram, gets no response. So we try and push it to an international audience. They don't get it. It's
maybe
all right.
we need to come up with like a jingle.
Yeah.
Like,
Or a little
crisp
jingle.
rating time,
Jingle.
crisp rating
Yeah.
time.
Crisp
Not that,
chips,
but something,
Pringles.
something better than that.
Something slightly better than that.
Just a suggestion. Take it or
And
leave it.
on that note,
On that note,
goodbye. Let's wrap the pod in there. Ta-ra.
Thank you.
love it.